People online love to argue about overtaking on the left. When are you undertaking? When are you not undertaking? And it's getting pretty boring. Most of them actually don't even understand what lane hogging is. And I'm really done arguing with these people that don't get it. So today I'm looking at it from a very different angle. This one's actually inspired by a recent clip on Big Jobber's site. I really like his videos. I love his liability explanations. He posted a clip recently showing a driver that was involved in a collision when deciding to do an overtake on the left. Now, technically, they will not be found to be liable. It will be the other car that moved into their path, but being involved in a no-fault collision makes many people feel like they've done nothing wrong. And as Big Jobber says, I like the way he says this. He says, have you ever wondered why when you're involved in a no-fault collision, your insurance premium often goes up, even though you're not at fault? Do you get it yet? So I had a similar thing recently. A car, as we exited a roundabout that brings you into a right-hand lane of a section of dual carriageway, we're looking to move back into the left and a car whizzes past in the left lane. Now, this is unlikely, believe it or not, to be charged with careless driving, but that doesn't make it right. And it was only because we did the correct thing that this didn't turn into a potential collision. Later that day, my learner did the exact same roundabout from the angle that that car came from, and we had a lorry in the right-hand lane. I asked my learner, are you going to overtake on the left? She laughed and said no. And then she said, I don't get why people would do that. And isn't that interesting? A learner with more sense than some full license holders. Now, in older videos, I used to harp on about how you can potentially get charged with careless driving for overtaking on the left, and I'm bored of that conversation now because you're not going to convince people that don't want to hear it. But there is really only one reason that I don't overtake on the left, and it's not because I risk a careless driving charge, it's because I fully understand what can happen. Yes, of course, the highway code allows us to overtake on the left in a few circumstances. It's a one-way street when the vehicle in front is signalling to turn right and there is room to pass. And of course, in congested conditions, queues, slow-moving traffic. That's why the viewer in Ashley Neal's was pulled over, because this is not congestion. So the highway code does not permit you in this case to overtake on the left. Yes, you're technically doing nothing illegal, but the police officer saw reason enough to pull them over and give them the advice not to do it. So outside of those three things that you are allowed to overtake on the left, it's all the same thing. Whether you call it overtaking on the left, undertaking, passing on the inside, undercutting, fried baguettes, whatever you want to call it, it's the same thing. There is no difference. People say things like, it's not undertaking if you don't change lanes. It is. You're just probably a bit less likely to be actually charged with careless driving. Doesn't make it right. And that's where Big Jobber's viewer, of course, found out the hard way. No doubt there's someone that thinks, oh, if you don't change lanes, it's not undertaking. And again, the police see it very differently. If you check out West Yorkshire Police's website, they've actually added a sentence recently since the last time I viewed this one, literally spelling out for you that if you decide to go past a middle lane hogger in lane 1, you may be charged with careless driving. That again is where people will say, well, no, it mentions undertake, so that's if you change lanes. No, it's all the same thing. It's just varying degrees. If you haven't seen me before, make sure you hit subscribe. In the next video, I'm going to be dispelling so many of the stupid myths that surround lane hogging. So many people claim there are lane hoggers when there actually isn't. And I will include this clip where a heavy decides it's a good time to overtake me on the left and then force their way in, forcing me to drop back and let them in. Now, to anyone that says what I'm doing here is lane hogging, I'm just simply going to quote Clarkson, you're an idiot, and it just isn't. Just very quickly, if any of my videos do resonate with you, please do hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. But if you go down to comments and swipe right, you've got this hype button. That is a newer feature from YouTube, and it helps smaller channels like mine just get seen by a few more people. Without the hype, unfortunately, the videos don't go very far. So if you do really like the videos at any point, you get 3 a week, and we'd love to have some of your hypes. Thanks so much. Now, back to the main point. I don't overtake on the left because I know exactly what can happen. Let's pretend I'm some of the angry commenters that froth at the mouth, the keyboard warriors, when I come out and tell them about the rules on overtaking on the left. I'm on the motorway coming up to my exit for the service station. A Kia is lane hogging in lane 3. I could technically slip past on the left. After all, there's space, there's a lane that separates me from the lane 3 hogger. However, I don't. The highway code doesn't say don't overtake on the left unless there's a lane separating you. And I can feel the keyboard warriors right now frothing at the mouth because I'm not overtaking on the left. And nor does the person in lane 2. They have better sense. So as they catch them up, they hold back and then they start to move to the right. And thank goodness for that, because the Kia then suddenly dives to the left. It's coffee time. If either myself or the vehicle in lane 2 had just decided to push through like so many people think is okay, there very well could have been a collision. Neither of us would have been found liable, so we would have been involved in a no-fault collision, but we would have put ourselves in that situation for the Kia to hit us. So we have done something wrong. As it was, me and my wife went on to have a lovely weekend up York for her 40th birthday. We went into the service station, had a delicious lunch and a coffee, unaffected by what's just happened, and everyone carried on with their journeys safely, despite a very silly action from the Kia. Could have been very different. If the cam driver in Big Jobber's clip earlier had had the same mindset, that collision would not have happened. That is why I'm not going to waste any more time arguing with people that think I'm wrong. They won't see the point until it literally hits them. I've been teaching learners for 8.5 years now, and some things I've seen will make me absolutely never overtake on the left. I've seen things, man. In that time I've been an instructor, I can count on one hand the amount of times a learner has changed lanes to the right without checking their mirrors properly. Now, moving back to the left is a very different story. It's a weekly occurrence, and some learners it becomes actually quite a habit that we have to spend time braking. The reason is they very rarely, if ever, have seen someone pass them on the left, so the brain just doesn't register that that is also a hazard. They very quickly work out on themselves that traffic passes them on the right. Now, if learners are doing it, learners are human beings. So you can bet your bottom dollar there's full license holders doing this every day. And when people pass on the left and nothing happens, it further backs up in their mind that they're doing nothing wrong. It can seem harmless. But like the Kia earlier, you actually have no idea what is in that person's brain or how good their awareness is or their checks are going to be if they do suddenly wake up and decide to change lanes. Here's another example. I've used this one before, but myself approaching an exit. It's a really regular comment that I see where people say that this is an occasion you are now permitted in the highway code to overtake on the left. Now, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I have missed a rule. If someone can point me in the direction of that rule, I'd be very grateful because I can't find it. And for me, I feel like it's one of those rules that's just getting perpetuated by people backing each other up saying, yeah, you can do this. I've even seen Big Jobber say it. So maybe it is a rule and I've missed it. But take this situation. I don't decide to overtake on the left when I get into the exit lane and the markings then change. I hold back. Now, the reason is I don't trust that there's not someone going to do this sort of maneuver. So the van here doing something very, very silly. And if I decide to put myself in a situation where another idiot like that crashes into me, I'm as much to blame. Yes, I won't be found liable again, but I have done wrong. So I hold back. I choose life. As I said, I don't think the highway code shows us that we can overtake on the left in these circumstances. That's a choice. So yes, every time you do overtake on the left, that is pass a vehicle on the right, under any circumstances that is not in the highway code, yes, you do risk a careless driving charge. Yes, there is less chance if you haven't changed lanes, but not no chance. But forget that a second. That's not my argument anymore. Think about what can happen. Now, I've got to mention, of course, my biggest fan, Mr. Nobody, who, of course, is someone that I'm trying to win over desperately. Hates my views on overtake on the left and is adamant that we should just be able to keep going in our lane even if it's passing traffic on the right. Now, he's dug out someone called Tony Carter, who, as far as I can tell, is an expert motorcycle rider, has worked for the police, etc., examining, and has actually been working as a motorcycle accident investigator, according to this chat on Piston forums. Now, this is the chat that Mr. Nobody highlighted to me, saying that Tony Carter knows a lot more than I do. Essentially, look, I'll put a link to the description so you can read fully what Tony Carter's done, and if you want to pause, has apparently said, and if you want to pause it on the screen, here it is. Essentially, he's saying that, you know, yes, you are getting less and less likely, he would say potentially, to be actually charged with careless driving if you overtake a middle lane hogger in lane one. The judges are starting to realise that actually potentially it's not a careless act and it's thought about, etc., etc., yada yada. Now, what I would say to someone like Tony is that, yeah, it's a very good point you raised, and someone like Mr. Nobody has just lapped that up like a cat in a bowl of milk, because of course it goes with Mr. Nobody's opinion. But let's think about more than opinions and facts. Think about if Tony Carter decided to just keep going on his motorcycle in lane one, and the middle lane hogger, as he's passing, decides, oh, I need to move back to the left, and moves back to the left and wipes Tony off of his motorbike. Tony, from his hospital bed, can at least be reassured that he's done nothing wrong. As a motorcycle investigator, apparently, Tony should know better, because there was a study done between 2012 and 2021. Again, there's a link to that in the description. And in it, it's detailed that motorcycle riders were involved with 3 times the average collisions when involved in overtaking on the near side. For me, it shows that even experts can get things wrong if they're looking at it from the wrong point of view. Not the angle of, will I get prosecuted? It should be from the angle of, could I get wiped out? If you still don't get that, you never will. And honestly, you're part of the reasons that stats like I've just shown you exist. So look, my last message on this is simply, if you're going to overtake on the left, think seriously about it. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Sometimes doing the right thing could be the thing that keeps you alive.